Adam, dude, week one's in the books, man, and what a week one it was. We're just going to jump right on into this, and we're going to start with, obviously for us, with the Tennessee game. I was happy with the way things went in this game. We're going to get right into that, and we got some more topics coming along with some of the big games this week too, so stick around for this episode. It's going to be a good one. Man, how did you feel about Tennessee-Syracuse?
Yeah, going into the game, man, I like all of us, dude, I didn't know what to expect. You and I have talked about it a lot over the past few months leading up to the season, not just on the podcast, but just in person. Anybody you talk to, it was always a question of the quarterback, a question of this, a question of that. Man, it just honestly just feels so relieving that we finally saw a product put together on the field. And I'll be honest with you, man, I don't know how you feel about it, but they kind of exceeded my expectations a little bit with that game, the way they looked and some of the things they did on the field, man, for sure. So excited and so happy it turned out the way it did because, like I said, I had no clue how it was going to go whatsoever.
Yeah, man. I mean, definitely, I have to agree with you on the exceeding expectations as far, 45-26. We both were predicting it to be closer. We were kind of worried about it. I feel like, not we disclosed that in this podcast, but we also, talking with each other some. I've been on vacation, so we hadn't really got to talk a lot about this weekend, which is going to be cool, because
Right.
we haven't had much time to discuss this at all. So I've been looking forward to this. Um, I think it helped answer some questions. I know it's one game, and we don't want to jump the gun here and say, and some people are going to be like, it's just Syracuse. But when you say just Syracuse, they were a team that was a three loss team last year, had 10 wins, and so they were a team definitely not to take lightly. But I think it answered a lot of questions with Joey Aguilar. At least for right now, he's going to continue to be the starter.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, had a little bit of a rocky start if I had to critique anything, a little bit slower start, which I kind of thought would happen. I feel like a lot of teams have done that here in week one as well. But he really kind of just came back with it. And I mean, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, man. Really impressed with a couple plays. Of course, the deep pass for the touchdown, right on the money, dude. Hit him in
Oh,
stride.
man.
Beautiful pass. We haven't seen those here in a while, man, and it was good to see that. And then play I really want to point out for him that I noticed is when he's not afraid to stay in the pocket, but on one play in particular, he tried to stay in the pocket, but he had to step up, and he broke outside the pocket there, threw a touchdown pass there to the running back. I believe with
Yeah.
that one it was Star Thomas that he threw that one to.
Yes.
That was a play I like to see. Kept his eyes downfield and delivered on that one as well for another touchdown pass. I've got several things. I'm sure you got stuff you'd like to add to it as well. But what do you think of his performance specifically?
Yeah. I didn't think that he would go out there and I didn't think he'd go out there and play like crap, to be honest with you. I did expect him to play good enough to win, but I think that he took it a step above that. I'm very impressed with his pocket presence, like you said. I mean, the way he stands in the pocket, you can kind of watch him. He doesn't really commit to one thing as soon as the ball snapped. He scans the field like a quarterback should. Really impressed with that. I do agree with what you said, kind of struggled a little bit there. One thing I have in my notes is he struggled with selling the ball a little bit too high on some throws, not overthrowing the receivers, but just kind of putting the ball just out of hands reach there. I feel like if he could dial that in, obviously you're looking at probably another 100 yards, maybe even another touchdown to those statistics. But it feels good to see his comfort level, man, and he's really poised in the pocket. I think we've touched on that before. Speaking back to his App State days, he stands in that pocket, man. He is a pocket quarterback. Does have the ability to kind of scramble out a little bit. He's not the fastest guy, but we did see him pick up a big time run. I think in the game, maybe a 20-yarder, something like that, 25-yarder. But yeah, you talking about the touchdown pass to Star Thomas, man. That was pretty impressive the way he kind of got outside the pocket there and, like you said, kept his eyes downfield, never gave up on the play, never resorted to just trying to run around. We
Yeah,
saw a lot of that last year where it was almost like the quarterback last year, Nico, it's almost like he didn't know the offense good enough or didn't trust the routes or something good enough to make a play downfield. He
I
always
feel like he
resorted
would
to
have
trying
ran
to.
that.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, he always wanted to resort to just instantly, without making any additional reads down the field. He just wanted to instantly bolt and jump and get out on foot, and that's not the best thing to do, obviously, most of the time. So, but the biggest thing to take away from Joey's performance, I think, and it's a big statistic that I think a lot of us were maybe a little worried about going into it, and that's zero interceptions. Man, the guy took care of the ball, didn't put the ball in harm's way whatsoever, man. So that's my biggest takeaway is his pocket presence, and he did not put the ball in harm's way. That's
Yeah,
the biggest thing that I think.
for sure, man. And I think, like you said, some of that selling a little. I did notice that as well. But the first game, man, I think that'll honestly, I think he's going to touch that up a bit. And
Oh yeah,
something else I was impressed with that we did mention on him is some of those times where he got the ball out quick. Didn't give the defense much time to get to him on some of those plays, man. I mean, now I know, granted, some of them might have been some like, screen passes, some, quick outs, things like that. But if the pressure was there some, he got the ball out quick like it needed to be. Didn't
hmm
hesitate on his decisions, I don't felt like, in that game. So he definitely seemed very poised. I mean, and come out, man, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. His
yeah,
debut could have been 40 something to 10 loss with 1 interception. I don't know who did that, but he could have done something like that.
yeah, no doubt, dude.
So
Yeah,
definitely,
we got the better end of the deal in week one for sure.
week one, definitely. We'll see as the year goes, but
Yeah, yeah. I think something really awesome to point out too is I think it's pretty evident that Heupel has a lot of confidence in Joey
Mhm.
because it would have been so easy to start the game running the ball or doing
Yeah.
maybe like a little quick side pass out to the running back. Josh Heupel comes out the gate letting Joey open it up, 3 straight passes. I
I
mean,
mean, the big touchdown pass came right after Syracuse scored a touchdown. It was an answer right back.
yes.
So I love the aggression. We hadn't seen that aggressiveness, and like you said, that goes to the trust in the quarterback. I feel like.
Yeah, and something else I was going to add too, the fast play, getting the ball out quick, getting back up to the
Yeah,
line, getting the ball out quick. That's pretty impressive considering that Joey has only been in this system since what, July?
yeah, it's crazy,
So
man.
I mean, yeah, he missed a lot of prep time with the team, a lot of practice, and man, that's impressive to pick up on the playbook
Yeah,
that quickly. Obviously, we've got a long road to go, but just initial reactions, man, that
yeah.
it shocked me. It really did. It surprised me.
I also have to brag a little bit here too on the running game, man. I
Yeah.
felt like we had a very balanced attack offense. We had
Oh
two
yeah.
running backs we had Star Thomas with 92 yards. Deshaun Bishop had 82 yards and a touchdown. Peyton Lewis had 38 yards and a touchdown as well. He scored an early touchdown though, tough run on that one. Um,
Yep.
just three running backs that seem like they can be out there and do something. I was very impressed with Star Thomas, man.
Yes.
Just gonna put that out
Yes,
there.
dude.
He was averaging like something per carry.
Yeah. Almost
Super
8.
impressed with him. Yeah, super impressed with him, man. What do you think on the running game? I mean, that's something that we got to mention. It was great.
Yeah. It's funny because it just goes to show how in sync you and I are, man. My very next notes after Joey Aguilar is I say we have a three-headed monster in the backfield now. Earlier in some of the
Tough
early,
runners.
yes, man, so tough. And leading up to this episode, leading up to week one, we've recorded 10, 11 episodes by now. And you and I not once mentioned Star Thomas. Not one single time did we mention him. It was pretty much Deshaun Bishop and Peyton Lewis. Those were the two guys that I thought, I mean, we knew about them and they were somewhat proven. They got some touches last year, but here comes Star Thomas, dude. And I mean, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it right now. If he's RB1, I'm fine with it because that guy ran like a
He looked it.
madman.
He
He
looked
did,
it,
dude.
man. And no knock on the other two, because like I said, dude, I mean, I seen a play with all three of them guys lowering their shoulder into somebody and just running through them. Like, I mean, it wasn't. They get hit and it's 2 or 3 yards carrying somebody. So they all ran hungry, man, and I'm excited to see that continue. Three running backs that can like
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna have somebody in a rotation constantly. And again, yeah, right now, Star Thomas keeps that up. He's probably gonna be RB1, I would say,
yeah,
going forward. But it'll be interesting to
yeah.
see. But very impressed, man. Very impressed with the running game.
Yeah, and it's one of those things with Josh Heupel teams, especially his tenure so far at Tennessee. That running game, even though even though not a lot of people talk about it, dude, go back and look at the statistics, man. Josh Heupel, ever since he's been at Tennessee, has had teams that have 2,500 rushing yards every single year. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy knows how to dial up those pass plays. We've all seen that. We all know that he's, a quarterback guy. He likes dialing up schemes and routes and all that stuff. But man, don't sleep on this Tennessee running game because it is
Mm-mm.
proven. And obviously, if things continue like this year, you could be looking at potentially two. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but you could potentially be looking at two 1,000-yard rushers this season. It could be a combination of any of the three that we mentioned, but if Star Thomas stays on this trajectory and Deshaun Bishop stays on this trajectory, you're looking at 2,000-yard rushers potentially, man. And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I love a good running game, man.
Absolutely, man. And then, of course, the receiving game, Braylon Stanley, he had 95 yards and touchdown. A lot of that came off his big one. Uh, Dude, Chris Brazzell, good to see him getting some catches, man. He had 62 yards. We had several receptions, highly involved in offense,
Hmm.
something I look forward to seeing as it goes throughout. I wanted to add in, Kitselman did have a touchdown. He didn't have many yards, but he did have a touchdown. So we want to continue to hopefully see some of that I predicted with him and Joey. I was going to ask you, though, what do you think about defensively? I'm just curious as to what your opinion is going to be on that. You have any more to add on the receivers? Go right ahead. I just have some curiosity about the defense.
Yeah, the only thing I'm going to add about the receivers real quick before we move on is we do seem to be struggling a little bit with dropped passes. I think there was 3 or 4 dropped passes. Obviously, going back to what I said about Joey, kind of selling the ball a little bit over their heads. Couple of those over the head throws could have been caught, but there were 3 or 4 instances where the ball was placed right here, man. You got to help your quarterback
You
out
got to catch it.
sometimes. You got to
Yeah.
catch it. But yeah, Brazel, I'm happy to see him getting involved in the offense more. That's my breakout player of the season, I believe, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, that I predicted there a few episodes ago.
Was.
Moving on to the defense, man, I think our defense looked stout. I think they looked aggressive. I think they looked good. Good to see Arian Carter disrupting plays, man. He looks like an absolute monster. I'm talking physically. Like
Yeah.
I remember, I can't remember what quarter it was or anything like that, but that big time sack in the backfield where I think they disguised the blitz and Carter looked like he was going to drop back, but all of a sudden here he came completely untouched and just demolished the quarterback.
Yeah.
When the camera panned to him, dude, after he made that sack and he stood up, I mean, he is absolutely massive. And I
Yeah.
didn't expect that because I remember seeing pictures of him last year and he did not look that big. This man
Yeah.
has put in some work in the off
And
season.
taking that them whey protein shakes. You ain't missed none of those.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that athletic department's nutrition program is working good for him.
Yeah. For sure, man.
You got to love the scoop and score, of course. That was big
Oh
time
yeah.
play. Easily could have just fell on the ball or kind of stumbled on top
Mhm.
of it or something. The awareness to scoop that thing up and score big time play. Of course,
Tip
our
drill
defense
interception, man.
tip jury interception, yes, big time. T-Lander, I believe,
Yeah.
with the awareness to kind of just dive after it. I've got in my notes here that we did look good, but however, I felt like we did give up some big time pass plays, and I'm sure you're going to talk about something like that.
Yeah.
We did discuss how we would love to see Tennessee's secondary kind of take another step this season. I know you've got something wrote up about that, man, because I did get a text from you during the game saying you can't be
Yeah.
giving up a big time pass on a 4th and 10. So,
Yeah. Yeah, man. I want to start with the positives, of course. Just seeing the aggressiveness, the getting after the quarterback, man. That's something Tennessee defense has had lately, and it's nice to see it continue. Creating that pressure on the quarterback, causing the fumble for scoop and score. The great defensive play, man, on that tip drill I was talking about, man. The way just timing it, tipping it, the other guy, just diving in for that impressive interception, man. So very impressed with all that, and glad to see that there and that tenacity in that defense. They're going to come after you. They're going to hit you. I mean, there's some, they delivered some big hits in the game too. Just tough defense, which is what you like to see. But I do think we got to dial in a little bit. If I had to critique anything, especially going into the year, man, not giving up big plays. It was well, I said on 4th and 10. I mean, 4th and 10, man, across the middle, give up like a 20, 30 yard play, and that led to a touchdown. What could have been stopped right there. And that let that game at one point get a lot closer than it needed to be. They got back within 10 at one point. And, Tennessee finished it off there at the end, which is good. And we do tend to keep our foot on the pedal. Sometimes maybe a little too long for some fans. It does. I've seen it happen, but we do keep our foot on the pedal, man. And so it was kind of aggravating at one point, just or frustrating as a fan watching the game to let them kind of back in a little with some big plays. It looked like it was mostly across the middle, like down the field across the middle.
Yep.
Um, from the plays that I did see, I will say that. So just kind of cleaning that up a bit, and then in the secondary, working on that pass defense there. I think as the year goes on, I think they will improve. I think Syracuse quarterback's a good quarterback, so I think they were some playmakers and stuff to give them credit for that as well. But I would like to see us clean that up. Kind of moving into another part of this on the game, kind of covered about everything. But speaking of cleaning it up, man, we got to clean the penalties up, man. It's just it's drive killers sometimes. It's things that put us in a more difficult situation. Um, I think we had a touchdown on one play that got called back. Just some penalties that Tennessee has had issues with. You talked about that specifically with Josh Heupel having penalized teams, and just really would like to see the discipline come along with it too. I have optimism that they will, but I've also watched Tennessee get penalized a lot so throughout the year. So I think it's something we kind of got to deal with sometimes, but that
Yeah.
was still there in this game.
Yep. Yeah, that was very frustrating to see because like you said, I specifically called that out on the last episode when we were
Yeah.
talking about what are some of the top things you want to see from Tennessee in week one. 7 penalties for 65 yards. I mean, you can get away with that against the Syracuses of the world, the ETSUs of the world, but not to skip over ETSU already on this episode, but week three, man, when Georgia comes to Neyland Stadium, man, you can't shoot yourself in the foot 7 times and rack up 65 yards worth of penalties.
No,
You just
absolutely
can't.
not.
You just can't. So that is one thing that I would love to see us fix somehow. I don't know what it is, and it seemed like a lot of it, like the touchdown you were talking about, was an illegal man downfield, and I think we had another one of those, one or two more of those. So I don't know if it's could be just game one mistakes, somebody out of assignment, out of alignment. We didn't really touch on it too much, but I thought we had tremendous offensive lineman play throughout the game, even
Hmm.
though we are dealing with some injuries at offensive line. I think if I remember correctly, we had to shift over a guard to the tackle position, which obviously had to switch over another person over to a different position. So we were playing some guys out of position on that offensive line, and Joey Aguilar went untouched, other than scrambling. He never got sacked the entire game, and I think
Yeah.
that's commendable for sure. And the running game, obviously, it doesn't happen without good O line play. So,
Overall, just super happy with it, the way things
yeah,
turned out in week one. Can't complain, man. I mean, it did exceed expectations, and hopefully it's not giving us false hope because it does give me some hope kind of going into the year. But 1-0, man.
yep,
We're right so far on what we predicted. Hopefully it kind of continues until week three against Georgia. I hope we're wrong there and it just
yep.
keeps on rolling. But
Yeah, 1-0, man. Not everyone can say that coming out of week one.
we're going to be talking about that today, actually, because there's a few teams that can't say that. And we're just going to go ahead and start off with what's that sound? Alabama. What happened, man?
Wow.
Alabama. What happened? I mean, what a shock, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe it, man. I think I didn't realize what was going on until my cousin told me. At the time, I was still trying to catch up. I was trying to juggle the Texas Ohio State game and the Tennessee Syracuse game on TV. That can be
Yeah.
kind of difficult sometimes with the
Oh, yeah.
play and and trying to rewind and all that. So I fell behind a little bit in time. And I was getting ready to flip it over to the Alabama game, and my cousin said, "Man, I don't even know if I want to watch it." And I was like, "What are you
Yeah.
talking about?" That's how I found out what was happening.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I really don't know the words to say, to be honest with you.
I mean, Alabama went up, what, 7-0, and then I was kind of like, well. it's probably gonna, I see him drive down the field some, and I was catching parts too, and I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna go the way we thought it would. I'm confused because I'm like, well, get into more about Bama's part of things here in a minute. Is Bama like, are they gonna have a rough year? Are they gonna have just a tough year, or is Florida State good this year? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Because we got to think Florida State was a undefeated team during the season 2 years ago. So and then had the disaster season last year, starting out at a 10th ranked team. Um, the quarterback definitely he looked. I think he came from Boston College though, didn't he? If
Yeah,
I'm remembering correct.
Castellanos.
He looked good, man. He looked Florida State did look good. I'll give him credit for that. So I think they're going to be obviously going to be better than last year. So could be a little bit of a combo of both. But man, I mean, the coach for Bama's got to be feeling a little bit of pressure, man. They definitely miss Nick Saban
Yeah, without
down
a
there in
doubt.
Alabama right now. So
Without a doubt. Well, you said you hit the nail on the head, man. We don't know. We don't know. Is Bama bad or is Florida State good? I mean it could go either way. But yeah, you're right, man. That's one of the most shocking things that I've seen happen in a while.
mhm,
And for Florida State to have the season they had last year, like you said, and then
mhm,
turn around game one this year and do that, I mean, they're already better than they were last year. I mean, you know what I'm saying? With that W, dude. But yeah, Kalen DeBoer, their coach, man. I mean, he's got, like you said, he's got to be feeling the heat. I've heard and read things all over social media talking about fire him, fire him, fire him. Uh, uh, Fans are asking what the buyout is of his contract and all this stuff, dude. I mean, things could take a very, very bad turn down there. It could
yeah.
happen quickly.
And I'm not one of those people who jump the gun and say fire this guy or anything. Fans aren't used to this, so it's where they're gonna go to. I would hate to be the guy to follow up Nick Saban, but I will say I think right now the Bama dynasty is on a pause.
Yep.
Heard
At
that from me.
least that.
I'm gonna make that statement and stick with that statement. It is at least on a pause. It might be on a little bit of a break for at least this year. I don't know. We'll see.
I,
Long season, but
yeah,
it's not starting out well.
I think the most concerning thing from watching that game, the way they not necessarily the way they played, because obviously it wasn't good, but
No,
I saw a lack of drive. I saw a lack of motivation. I saw a lack of I saw I saw detrimental things to a program, not necessarily receivers dropping passes or assignments being
yeah,
missed and on blocking or anything like that. I saw like the fire within a player to want to win. Like I saw that missing from the
yeah.
Alabama team on the field, and
It's not
that's
Alabama football.
that's even scarier than just screwing up a game because you missed a field goal or you threw a couple interceptions. I mean, you're talking about stuff that's within a team, in a
Yeah,
locker room, in a culture. Desire, passion, drive, whatever the other words you want to use. When you see that missing from a team, man, that is a scary thought for sure.
yeah. They definitely got some stuff to work on there and talk about in the locker room, man. Kind of going on to the game that we had, as the game of the week.
Mhm.
Ohio State, Texas. Interesting, man. First off, I am going to start by saying both defenses are tough.
Yes,
I'm
scary
going to give
tough.
Texas defense, man, kept Texas from getting blown out.
Yes,
So both defenses
without a
very
doubt.
tough. Man, what shocked me, I know I texted you one day about being shocked. You said you weren't really shocked about it, which I'll let you get into here soon. Um, More what I meant, dude. Arch Manning kind of shocked me. Um, I felt like the moment was a little big, and I think it was too big for him in that moment. Um, Now I'm not gonna buy into like all the stuff you see about people being like Arch Manning's not going to be good. I mean, you've seen all the memes at this point, about how he's going to be terrible and stuff. There was some moments in end of that game he showed some signs of like trying to bring them back to where I thought it turned real interesting. That fourth down stop on the midfield was just good defense. I mean, he got Arch Manning got the ball off, got a completion. He just couldn't get it any farther than where he had, but there was some sparks there that I seen at the end in him, that competitiveness. I think he's going to get better when the season gets rolling.
Oh yeah.
But we were even. the ones falling into how dominant he was going to be this season. So it's just showing that, it was his first big start and he's got some stuff to work on going forward. Like I said, I'm not going to buy into the hype that Arch Manning is a bad quarterback, or as I seen on Barstool and stuff, which they've poking fun. They always got to, but I'm not going to say Arch Manning is ass just yet. We'll see how it goes as the season goes. Um, but what's your thoughts on that game, man? Just the whole thing.
Yeah, man, I agree with what you said, dude. I mean, it did look like the moment was too big for him, dude. I mean, I hate to sit here and say that he isn't ready for it and all that, but I mean, just going off what I saw on field, it was clear that he wasn't ready for that moment, in my
Yeah.
honest opinion. It looked like it looked like a deer in the headlights a lot of times. I mean, the way he was throwing the ball didn't really look like he had the greatest mechanics down pat.
Mhm.
It didn't look like it looked like he was, I ain't gonna say it looked like he was scared because I don't think he was scared whatsoever. I just think he was just legit like shocked that
Mhm.
everything might have been coming to him as fast as it was coming or whatever the case may be. If you go back and watch a little bit of the highlights or a couple film breakdowns or something that a lot of people do on YouTube, you see just how good Ohio State's defense is, man. A lot of
Scary, dude.
times, yeah, a lot of times when he was in the pocket and he was dropping back, I've heard a lot of people talk about, oh, he needs to get the ball out faster. He's holding the ball too long. Dude, if you go back and look at the tape when he was holding the ball, there wasn't a single soul open anywhere. I mean, the secondary of Ohio State was like glued to the receivers and had the entire field covered everywhere. Something that I would like to point out is, just as good as I do, if because Texas, I mean, they opened the season up against freaking Ohio State at Ohio State. Let's not forget that we're talking about the defending national champions here from last year. He
Scary defense, dude.
Yeah, he didn't open up the season against UL Monroe or any of these other schools,
Yeah.
UTEP, whoever you want to say, like some of these other schools opened up against. We could be having a completely different conversation about Arch Manning right now if he opened up against one of those teams. I don't drop the game on the shoulders of Arch Manning at all, man. I hand the ball. If I'm a Texas fan, I'm not sitting here in panic mode this week thinking Arch Manning's trash. I'm tipping my hat and saluting the Ohio State coaching staff and that defense
Yeah.
because that's what lost you the
Yeah.
game, not Arch Manning's
Yeah.
play.
Let's not forget Texas. I mean, the goal line stuff that happened to them, and then I mean, like another. I think they had two opportunities right in the red zone to score. They didn't. Texas had opportunities to win this game. Let's not forget
Yeah,
it was a 14-7 game. It's not a panic mode for Texas. Against arguably probably going to be their toughest opponent for the season. Um,
yeah,
and I hate to give Ohio State so much credit for how great their defense is and everything. As a person who ate their words about Ohio State after this one,
yeah.
but I will say one thing: Ohio State, your offense is not amazing,
It's
in
true.
my opinion.
It's true.
Your star receiver didn't play the greatest. Granted, he had like a shutdown corner on him. That's another kudos to Texas' amazing defense. Quarterback for his first start. You got to give him the credit for getting the win. But outside of like that big touchdown pass that I'm gonna be honest was a little bit thrown behind the receiver, and the receiver made an outstanding catch for the touchdown there. You take that pass away, your quarterback doesn't throw for 100 yards in that game.
Yep.
So I think because Ohio State's still got some things to work on too, because their defense won them that game for sure. Was not their offense.
100%. Something interesting to think about too. If before the game started or, the week before or whatever, if you would have told Texas that you held Ohio State to 14 points, don't you think they probably would have thought they won the game?
For sure. For sure.
So it's just one of those
Absolutely.
grinded out defensive battles that in today's world with the high flying throws and the crazy passing yards and statistics, we're not used to seeing as fans and we may not really gravitate towards those games. That's just a testament to sometimes you just got to have a good defense to win a ball game, man.
Kudos to those defenses, man. It was hard
Yep.
fought. So I can't hate on Ohio State this week. I had to throw a little jab at them on their offense, but they, I can't hate on them on that.
No doubt, man.
And then of course we had a couple other games. I think we had. talked about before we're going into the week. Good games, man. LSU ended up beating Clemson
Mhm.
17-10. I think I did call that one
Yep, you
for
did.
LSU to
I
win.
Yeah, I had Clemson in that game, but shout out to shout out to Brian Kelly. Finally got that bad juju
Uh,
off of him, man. Got the week 1 win finally.
Good game, man. I did watch that one, so through through most of it, catching parts of that. Um, One game I want to mention that we were both right about was Miami Notre Dame, 27-24. Another close game. Um, Really good game, man. Carson Beck,
Yeah,
I mean, he looked pretty good.
yeah. He looked like Carson Beck of old, man.
But of course, then again, when you got a receiver that can make an absolutely catch of the year so far, maybe it's going to be a top five catch this year.
Oh yeah,
It's an
yeah.
outstanding catch, man, for a
That's
touchdown.
like a Odell Beckham Jr. level type catch
Yeah.
for sure, man.
Mhm.
It was insane. I think it's already ESPN top
Oh yeah.
#1 play, I believe.
Has to be, man. It was nasty. Those four teams, man, they'll be top 10 teams still. I mean, close games between them on both sides. Very evenly matched football games, if you ask me. I mean, it was. I think the score shows. So even though two of those teams had to take an L right off the bat, that's what happens when you have that tough of opponent scheduled right off. But I mean, I think all those teams, man, are going to be right around there at some point towards the end of the season. But wow, just what a week one, man. I mean, just like looking at all, I've just kind of looked back at all that and just
Yeah,
looking at
man.
what all I wrote down, and you just don't see that too often. Good games, upset already with Bama. College football is going to be wild this year.
It is. It is, man. We're looking forward to it so much, man. If week 1 is any indication of how the rest of the season's going to go, we're in for a treat, man.
We won't run out of things to talk about. I'll tell you that.
That's a
And
fact.
hopefully, I'll continue to be able to hate on the teams I love to hate on.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I always got to talk a little. But I guess we're week one, man, and I've already stuck a foot in my mouth already with Ohio State. So
It won't be
okay,
the
well,
last time it happens this season, brother. I have a feeling.
no, no. I already think they'll slip up at some point this year. So
We'll
I'm
keep
sure
rooting
I'll
against
say
them.
it
We'll be
again.
right eventually.
I don't know who they got next week, but I'm sure they're gonna win that.
Well, we do know that Tennessee has ETSU next week, so we'll definitely be coming at you all with an episode on Friday, kind of
Yep.
previewing that game. We'll do a little bit of dig and see what the big time matchups are.
Week two a lot less exciting than week one. Yeah, because I mean week one was crazy, man. That just don't happen often. So
No, it was cinematic for sure.
yeah, yeah. Make sure if you're watching, you check this episode out, like and subscribe to keep following us. We will be putting one out for Friday, man, to discuss the Tennessee TSU game. But it's here. We're right in it
That's it.
now.
Yep, week 1's behind us. We're moving on. We're in the thick of it now, man. Things will start to get interesting, especially when SEC play comes around. Can't wait for that.
Oh yeah, man. Anything you want to add to this today?
No, man, I'm just glad it's here. I'm glad the wait's over. Everything we've built up this far has just kind of been leading up to college football season starting, and now we're here, man, and it's exciting. Week 1 gave us so much to talk about, so much to go over. Shocking things happened, and ready for more of it.
Absolutely, man. And hey, Vols 1-0, go Vols.
That's right.
Out there, like and subscribe. And until the next one, dude. I'll see you, man.
All right, brother. Take care.